I'm not a motivational speaker. I don't claim to be, but I thought it would be kind of cool to share stuff about my life, about the past 10 years or so, and where I'm at now compared to then. Hopefully, if you're dealing with something similar to what I've dealt with, or depressed or something, then you can kind of get inspiration from this or reach out and talk to somebody. So 10 years ago, I'm 31 now. Back when I was 21, I got married. It wasn't a rush job. I had known her since college. We met when I was 18. She was like 3 years older than me. And we dated for a few years, and then we got married when I was 21. We got a house together, and I was the only one working. I was working full time. She had graduated college and she wasn't working, so that was awesome. But I was fine with it because I figured, as long as she's happy, if she's at home painting or whatever, I'm happy too. I'm not going to mention her name because if you know me, you know her. And if you don't know me, you don't know her, and there's no reason for you to know her name, so sorry. Because I don't have any ill will against her now. Like at first I did, but I kind of grew out of that, so. Anyway, and one day I find out that she's cheating. I catch her in a lie. And at that moment is when my life just went bop. I'm at work. She's at home with somebody. And I drive home really fast and try to catch her in the act. She was already gone, which was good because I told her on the phone, I was like, you better leave, not be there when I get back. He better be gone. So we get our marriage ended, and I was living alone. It was depressing living alone, so I moved back in with my parents and my family. So about a year after that, this was in like 2009, 2 years after that, I broke my back. I'm lifting weights, hardcore, I'm fit, I'm, the thinnest I've ever been and muscular. And one day I was at this girl's house who I was dating, and I remember doing laundry, and I bent over and I couldn't get back up. Like my back had just popped and snapped, and I was in misery. So we go to the doctor, they do x-rays and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, your back's kind of broken, man. They're like, you got spondylolisthesis and degenerative disc disease, and you're a mess, dude. So that was great. I had to stop lifting heavy. I couldn't do hardly anything. It hurt to walk for 20 minutes. Like my leg went numb all the time, and it still does. But so yeah, at that point, I was getting pretty depressed, and I had nothing. The one thing I had since then was working out. And now that is gone. Like that's being taken too. So I was no longer like working out the way I was. I was no longer lifting or training. And I had seen girls here and there. I was been dating and all that stuff, but never anything serious ever since that happened with my ex-wife. So I get a job at Best Buy, and I'm dealing with my back problems. It's hurting. I've got to sit frequently. I'm starting to put on weight. I'm not working out. And along comes a thing called arthritis and gout, which is, if you don't know what gout is, it's when there's like excess acid in your blood, and it starts to form little crystals that get stuck in your joints. Mine was in my ankles, so it felt like my feet were broken like constantly, okay? And it was painful to the point where I was crying sometimes putting on socks. So they put me on meds for that, fixed it. I still have it, but it's not as bad. And I still got my back problems. So I'm working at Best Buy, and I'm starting to think like, this is terrible. This is where my life is at. I'm in pain constantly. So finally, with depression kicking in and the pain, I quit Best Buy. I would rather just be on my own, broke, than be working and hurting all the time. So this is where my life started becoming just day to day, just existing, you know, it wasn't living. I got really, really depressed and had to go to a therapist and had to do this, and they're like, well, yeah, you know, if you look at, like, they found out I had ADHD at the therapist that had not been treated. You know, I always had it and it was never treated, which led to me having other issues. But if you look at, like, depression as like a layer cake, let's say like depression is like a lasagna. Jeez, these birds, dude. Depression is like a layer, right? And I had my back problems. I had my insecurities. I was not working. I had, you know, my other health issues, my emotional issues. So I had that, I had other issues, and then I had my ADHD. So the doctor was like, well, if we treat the ADHD, it's gonna make the cake shrink, and that's less to deal with. There's a bunch of people out there who are on disability, and they got less wrong with them. Why don't I do it? So I applied for disability, which kind of allowed me to just coast by, because I'm thinking, well, I'll get that eventually. I was woken up really fast, all right? I go to court, and things were said by the lawyer and the judge that just kind of smacked me across the face, and I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to be relying on this. It's not for me. Yes, I hurt and I'm in drastic pain sometimes, but I don't want to just sit on my butt and collect checks from the government. Like, no. So what I did a couple days later is I'm sitting in my room and I'm thinking I'm at the lowest that I've ever been, right? Like, I just lost my disability battle. I have no promises of what I'm going to be doing, you know, in the future. I didn't graduate college. I don't have anything right now except working at places like Best Buy. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, okay? It's fine if you work at places like Best Buy. It's not for me, though. I don't like working for people. I never have. So I thought, what do I love? I love film. I love movies. I like the story. I like the, you know, technical aspect of it, the behind the scenes. I like the editing, all of it. I love it. So I'm going to start a production company. My parents, I told them, and they were just like, okay, cool. Like, I could tell they didn't really believe me. Like, it was just a depressed guy spouting off things, you know. And I didn't believe myself either. But then I started to take it really seriously. And I'm thinking, good, these... Shh. So I start taking it seriously and studying, hundreds of hours of studying and finding out, how do I edit? How do I film? What's the best technique? How do I present myself as a company? Started getting, you know, jobs here and there, little jobs. I started out doing free work at first. And then within 8 months of me having the company, I had a job that was paying me like $5,000 for a video. I mean, really? Like, who wouldn't take that, right? For one job. And that continued. And then the next year, I started a company for weddings, and I got into wedding work. And I'm not saying this to brag, you know, I'm not boasting, but with that company where I'm sitting now, I have, you know, 35 to 40 weddings booked for this year. That's enough work for one person for a whole year, what you make doing weddings. And, you know, it's going to keep growing and growing, and I work harder and harder because I've done something for myself, and I'm not letting all these external factors come in and influence me, you know. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm not letting my health issues determine what I'm doing. I'm not letting my emotional issues determine what I'm doing. Yes, they still affect me, okay? Obviously. It doesn't affect my ability to provide, you know, a lifestyle for myself and to be able to enjoy life. Past 2 or 3 years, I've been happier than I've ever been, and I've been a new person. You know, I've been doing new things and experiencing anything I want. Like, there's no struggling anymore for money. Like, if I want something, I just go get it, you know. And I know it sounds like I'm boasting, and I'm really not. I'm not. I just want you to know that I came from something where I didn't think I was going to come back from. I thought I was going to be just a loser, you know, and now here I am. If you're going through something similar, or you've been through something, or going through something like I have, you can make a difference. You can literally say, my life is going this way. Now I want it to go this way. You can do that. Depression sucks. I've been there. I've been at the bottom of the pit. And I understand. So, you know, it just takes one thing to shift you. And the shift is going to happen. But you have to carry that shift through, okay, and make that change. You know, I hope you can watch this video and kind of see that it is possible. And there are people who change their lives. I've still got a lot of stuff I got to do. I've got a lot of stuff I have to change and keep working on. But I've come super, super far, okay? I'm not perfect. You know, I still make mistakes. I still get depressed. Sometimes I wake up and I just want to lay in bed all day, or I want to play PlayStation all day. But, you know, I come to this realization that if I do that, I'm only holding myself back. I'm letting people down that count on me. And I'm not going to go any, that's a day less that I have in the long run to create and provide, you know, for myself. You know, if you're struggling with something, don't be afraid to talk to somebody, okay? And I just, you know, some of that's pretty hard for me to share, but thanks for watching and have a good day.